Like, she really is literally the embodiment of being a Catwoman. Like, every other post, it's her cat who's come out of the veterinary surgeons, the cat typing on the keyboard incessantly. Have a look at the office right there. That's all you need to see, which is pretty much sums up Kim's tastes in a nutshell. Now, I really do hope this is the last video I make for a while about Ms. Kim Belair from Sweet Baby Inc. I mean, what a last few days that woman has had in terms of making an ill-fated appearance at the XOXO Fest last Thursday/Friday, and that video went super viral where she was on stage convincing everybody, listen guys, I'm not a sociopath, I really am quite a lovely person, honestly I am. But as I'm going to recap for you, she's anything of the sort. I know you already know this stuff, but I'm just going to regurgitate this for maybe the last time. The next time I make a video about Kim Belair is probably when she steps down from Sweet Baby Inc. or that company completely folds, which I'm still predicting might be towards the end of this year, early next year.
Well, I don't know what you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, but for me, this is just a normal day.
Stand by for action.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
Tired of the MCU and pop culture disasters? Then watch Jason Dumbass King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Now, for a change, I thought I would go on over to Smash JT, Jeffrey Tarzier's own website, and because the guy does really good work actually on that. I mean, it's rivaling that Park Place and bounding into comics for really good written articles. So Kim Belair is an extreme anti-white male racist, and I've actually got some new additional things to add to this video, folks, that you won't be aware of, things that you can't find on Google unless you're on Kim Belair's Twitter, which is what I am. She actually approved me to follow her. So when I show you certain images, it's not like, oh, it's a gotcha and oh my God, I didn't pay a private detective to get that information for me. Kim Belair has just got it out there in the public for people to see. So I will say as much, there are some family stuff there with Kim and her other siblings, which I won't show because why would I? This is not a gotcha video about Kim. Kim's already done this to herself. She's done the damage. In fact, because of Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League actually came out and put Sweet Baby under his spotlight, I mean, Kim only has herself to blame. So Jeff went on to say here, blocking me on Twitter was a gigantic mistake, Kim. What I initially thought was going to be a quick fun video about your wacky shenanigans quickly spiraled into a very deep rabbit hole that exposes your racism completely. Now, there's this whole narrative going around that Kim Belair is very anti-white male, they can't be straight. She is. And what's very bizarre and absolutely ironic, in this article here from gamesindustry.biz, now you see me, it probably should be saying afterwards, now you don't. Representation as innovation. Broader representation of gender, race, and sexuality can lead to new stories, says Kim Belair, and new stories can enlighten and excite. First of all, this part here, broader rep, gender, race, and no, it doesn't actually lead to new stories. Were the Uncharted games based on those things? No, they weren't. And any other game franchise, I mean, what she's talking about here is, well, we want to create new games that encompass all of these nonsensical things that we don't need in the game. Can you imagine Mafia 4 coming out and they're going to embrace gender, race, and sexuality into a Cosa Nostra video themed game? Of course not. So yeah, I've talked about this already, where she called Elon Musk a noted buffoon, which is kind of rich coming from her. And yeah, when she stepped on stage and she was like, hey, you know, I'm generally a nice person.
I'm Kim Belair. In my circles, I'm largely considered, I think, a relatively nice person.
I mean, first of all, Kim, if you're a nice person, love, you don't have to bark it like a rabid dog to the audience. People can make up their own minds whether they think you're a nice person, approachable or not. And again, I'd love to know who the dumbest members of the audience were that paid for a ticket to go and see Ms. Belair on stage. I mean, was there a Q&A session afterwards where you could meet and greet her? Probably not. In the video, she refers to her pets. I think it was Sage and Flaky were her dogs. And then one of her cats is called Greyboy. Now, for someone like me, Greyboy would just fly over my head like, Greyboy? Never heard of it. What does it mean? So, according to Jonas J. Campbell, I think he was the one that posted the article. If you actually look up the title, and it's true, it's not advisable to use the word Greyboy because generally it's understood as to be a derogatory term for a white boy or a white man. And what's very funny is that Kim's father is white, her mum is black. But I'm guessing because Kim has never spoken publicly about her father, she probably just distances herself away from him. I don't know what kind of relationship they had growing up. I don't know, but why Kim hates white men so much is anybody's guess. So again, Kim was actually blocked Smash JT. Oddly enough, she hasn't blocked me, which I find very ironic actually. I've got to show you this quickly, folks. So, courtesy of Kim Belair's very own Twitter account, this was posted on February the 16th, 2018. Now, we have seen a photograph or two before where Kim Belair is standing amongst the sea of staff at Ubisoft, all the way at the back where you can't see her. Well, this is proof she actually worked at Ubisoft. This is her last day where she hands in her ID card. And quite clearly, everybody's like, oh, we didn't know you were going. And Tim Rosenberg, I'm going to assume that's who that is, says, you know, I'm so used to calling you Kim that I never thought, not once, to think you were actually called Kimberly. Good luck with the best of your endeavors. Now, Miss Belair began work at Ubisoft in 2013. She was a senior writer, I believe. And I looked up the salaries for what people would probably earn then. The best I could find, but it kind of gives me a bit of a benchmark, is that currently now, if you do work for Ubisoft, and why would you, the amount of trouble they're in at the moment, you could earn up to £130,000. I don't know how much that translates to into dollars, probably 135,000 Canadian dollars. But back in 2013, it's unknown what the salary was then, but I'm going to guess maybe 70 or 80,000 Canadian dollars for Kim. So if she was able to put a lot of money aside, it would probably explain why she was then able to set up Sweet Baby Inc. later on in 2018. So again, this has shed some real light into Kim Belair's social life. She likes WWE apparently, who would have guessed? I mean, that's her as a witch, which is rather symbolic if you ask me, because we're not far from a Halloween. And that was a game that she made called Last Year Game, which I've vaguely heard about. Interesting who the protagonist is right there, but there you go. He's a princess, oh my god, and she's white, which does make a change. And look, the only compliment I'm going to well, I'm actually going to pay Kim Belair two compliments right here. First of all, she looks very glamorous in this picture, and that's a very subtle way of putting it. And second of all, if I had a choice to hang out with Kim or Alyssa McConaughey, Kim will take my place or take her place straight away. Absolutely. Yes, she'll probably be very insufferable, and she's got a very, how shall we say, a fetish for skulls and taxidermy, which is very, very strange, but everybody has their own tastes, right? She gets very excited about going into the Evolution store, full of bones and dead things. Very sweet, babyish, and informative staff. Wow, Kim, stop it, love. You're too much. Now, in case you're wondering why Kim Belair has such a disdain about white fellas, representation. Now, when I saw this image, I thought I knew what it was. It's Tarzan with Alexander Skarsgård, Margot Robbie, and the colourful gentleman in the middle is Xiaomon Honzu, one of my favourite actors. But she says representation. Yeah. You can't have the white man having a black man in a stranglehold with a knife pointed to him. I mean, look, I've not seen the film. I heard it's pretty good. But Xiaomon Honzu wouldn't appear in the film where he gets killed by the white man. Quite the opposite. And Tarzan, I mean, he's a wild man, right? So he's going to take umbrage to people that get in his way. But people have told me it's a pretty good film. Alexander Skarsgård was much thirsted for when people saw the trailer. And so you can understand Kim's disdain for white fellas. I don't know what her problem is exactly. It'll be rather ironic, actually, if she were dating one. But the last thing I want to leave with, maybe the last or second, is this part here as well. So hi, and this is courtesy of Dread Roberts, who posted some banger information on Sweet Baby and when it was first founded. So hi, I'm Kim Belair, and I'm a black woman. Well, actually, Kim, you're mixed heritage. Get that straight, just like I am. In games. Again, why do we care? I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Sweet Baby, a black and queer-owned narrative development company. So if you're straight, you don't have a chance of getting in, unfortunately. Right now, things feel very scary, uncertain, infuriating, and heartbreaking in light of the government-sanctioned violence being perpetuated against black communities. It's also important that we do not say something, or we not only say something, but do something. It's challenging enough to navigate this world as a mixed-race woman and to find solace. What, quantum of solace, Kim? Solidarity and support. This is equally true for black people. So again, you're calling yourself a black person, but then you're separating yourself by saying it's equally true for black people. So Kim, if you'd actually open up this paragraph by saying as a mixed race person, as I jokingly inserted there, then the rest of that would actually make sense. So black people working in and adjacent to the games industry, where opportunities are rarely afforded, which is such a crock of shit, ladies and gentlemen. That Bungie video I made over the weekend about the demise of 343 Industries and how the original Bungie team was comprised of, yes, mainly I would say 80% white dudes, but he had some Chinese dudes, some black dudes, Latino dudes in there as well, right? And was anybody besmirching their contribution? Of course not, because they were equally talented individuals. You gotta face facts, folks. When gaming was a thing in the West, a lot of white people were definitely at the forefront developing these things as they were going along. And as consumers like myself who are happy to take these things, these games, and play them on my console of choice, I'm not going to sit there and think, oh, you know, a white person made this. Maybe I shouldn't touch it anymore. Maybe it's disgraceful. Let me buy a game from a black person instead. Like, that's actually going to make a difference. Like, again, Mr. Grigsby, who works over at Infinity Ward, where he loves to design guns, and he just sits there and just has a great time.
It wouldn't make any sense. And they'd be like, all right, let's do 1 second. Okay, do we not need any reloads at all? But I love them. I love you, designers. So it's all good.
You know, people like him I respect because they don't shove identity politics down your throat. I want to, you know, give a shout out to Smash JT for his comment. I'm going to reiterate those right here as well. Kim Belair, love, just give up the ghost. Whatever money you've made being a consultant since 2018, it clearly hasn't worked out for you. Just look back at the past 6 years and think what damage you've done to the games industry. Unknown 9 Awakening, which comes out, I believe, in the next couple of days from today, it's not going to be a success for you. South of Midnight getting a release next year. No one's going to care about that either because you took a white character and you made her black. The same way you did it with Angrboda in God of War Ragnarok. So Kim, retire with grace, with whatever semblance of dignity you have left. Just call it quits. Because I think once you do, I think the domino effect will start with other consultancy companies just falling in a downward spiral across your table. Wishful thinking on my part, yes folks, but that's why I make these videos, so hopefully you can be marginally entertained. I had a great time making this video today, and it was actually good going to Jeff's website and reading his extensive, well thought out, well researched articles there, much better than Zarina J. Khan. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video today, hit the like button below, smash that subscribe button, and if I were you, and if you were me, you may wish to return for the next video.
Hello, I'm Kim Belair. In my circles, I'm largely considered, I think, a relatively nice person. These are my dogs, Sage and Flaky. These are my cats, Tag and the Greyboy. I really enjoy Lego. I collect skulls and taxidermy, and I also really like playing a lot of video games, including Elden Ring. By day...